Hello and welcome to another episode of Cascadia Mountain Weather. My name is Kyle McCrone. I'm here with Wyatt Mullen. It's Thursday, November 7th, and we're really starting to look at the snowpack building up. And this picture was taken a few years ago, but I think it kind of captures where the mountains are at. The upper elevations are starting to build a snowpack. We just had a week of drier, warmer weather, but we have more stormy weather on its way, and Wyatt's going to dive into that.
Yeah, so I'll do just kind of a quick review of the past couple weeks as we started to see that snowpack build. And really, it's been pretty close to normal. We've seen temperatures right around normal and kind of that -2 to 2 degrees. So, kind of right in that range. And precipitation has been a little bit above normal, especially this area that saw the atmospheric river up near the border, and especially down towards like Oregon as well. But generally, it's been like pretty close to normal. But it's been interesting because that's allowed kind of our snowpack to build because we really haven't seen any like big atmospheric rivers recently, at least, to knock out that snowpack. This is the total snowfall that's fallen kind of this season. So starting October 1st up through kind of early November, and you can see that the upper elevations have started to, accumulate. We've seen kind of 3 feet up to maybe even 5 or 6 feet in some places. We're starting to see that kind of compress down. But what is this weekend going to look like? I mean, it is going to be a very November weekend. Friday actually looks gorgeous if you have a chance to get out there. Kind of like the last couple of days, we'll see some filtered sunshine, maybe a little bit more filtered than the past few days. And as kind of this is showing the cloud cover, but as we get into late Friday and into Saturday, you can see that these clouds right here, which represent some precipitation, are going to start moving south through the area through Saturday afternoon, and then we'll maybe clear out for a second over Saturday night into Sunday, and then we'll start to see kind of this other front move in late Sunday. Um, as we move kind of through the weekend, we'll be starting to see also our snow level decrease because right now we're in kind of an inversion pattern where our snow level is quite high, around 10,000 feet. This is representative about 4 a.m. on Thursday, and then 4 a.m. Friday, 4 a.m. Saturday. Right here, you can see that it's starting to drop to about 6,000 feet when our precipitation is starting to arrive in some parts of the Cascades. And when this precipitation first arrives, it will be kind of in that like 5 to 6,000 foot range. But as we go into early next week, we'll see that snow level continue to drop, and that will allow the snow to build, especially at kind of those mid elevations. So we can look at the precipitation right here, and this is the American model. There's a relatively big difference right now between the American model and the European model about how wet our weekend is going to be. But if we look right here, the American model suggests that about kind of in the evening Friday, we're going to see this precipitation start to drop across the northern section of Washington and the northern Cascades. And we'll hang out there for a bit before moving through the day early Saturday, and kind of in the afternoon dropping down through the area. So if you're looking for drier conditions, definitely your best bet is to head further south. But honestly, it's a little bit unclear because Saturday might be dry for much of the area in kind of the central and southern Cascades, and that's just kind of the model disagreement right now. We can also look at the total accumulated precipitation. You can actually see that it's going to be relatively wet. This is through 4 p.m. Saturday, and especially for the North Cascades, there's a good chance of seeing up to an inch of rain, maybe even a little bit more. And then on Sunday, we see more of a drier day before, if I go back to this kind of shift, this is shifting back now to looking at Saturday night into Sunday. So you can see that it kind of clears out to some extent, maybe some showers lingering in the central Cascades. And then this next push of moisture arrives in the mid-afternoon on Sunday. And that's pretty good agreement on both models. So I think you can probably bet that we'll start to see some precipitation moving in late afternoon Sunday. This just highlights kind of this uncertainty in the model where this shows kind of mid-afternoon Saturday where there's not really that much rain in the Cascades. So just be prepared that if you are going out there that you could be dry the entire day on Saturday, or you might end up seeing some healthy rain. So just that uncertainty. If we look at snowfall, this is looking at 7 a.m. Saturday, and you can see that most of the snowfall through about early Sunday is at these kind of upper elevations, like we mentioned, about 5,000 feet and above. And then as the second push of moisture starts to come in, we're still seeing that snowfall kind of in that 5 to 6,000 foot level, but we start seeing it really pick up early in the morning on Monday. So this is 4 a.m. Monday, and going into later on the day on Monday. Decent amounts, upwards of 1 to 2 feet in the Cascades. And you can also see that the snow level starts to drop down to kind of that 4,000 foot level. And then if we look at temperatures, you can see that pretty standard. This is for Snoqualmie Pass, and I want to look at the 3,000 foot level at Snoqualmie Pass. So right at the pass level, unlikely that we'll see much snow this weekend or in the coming week. Temperatures kind of in the 40s, lows in the 30s. But if we bump up to about 5,000 feet, that you can see that after this weekend, we will see those snow levels drop. And snow's pretty much expected every single day next week, which will be great.
Thanks. So this is a webcam from Crystal Mountain earlier today, and you can see that we're starting to build up some snow in the upper mountain of Crystal. They're probably starting to get the mountain ready for opening in a few weeks, but there's still a lot of bare ground, and we're not quite in full-on ski season yet. This shows the Alpental ski area, just highlighting the inversion. You see that blue line is the Alpental top and the temperature. And that's definitely the inversion we've seen this week is kind of making the snow a little bit weird in most places. We've heard reports of mixed conditions up on Heliotrope and actually better Cornish snow on Camp Muir. So if you are looking to get out and ski this weekend in the limited areas that do have enough snow, just be prepared for variable conditions. I don't think it's a slam dunk early season day. So now we're going to take a look at the snowtail sites. This is like averaged over different areas, and keep in mind it's super early season, so these statistics don't mean a lot, but we are above average in most locations. The Olympics are at a crazy 691%, but that really just means is that some locations have some snow when typically they don't have any snow at this time of year. This is the Easy Pass site in the North Cascades. This is one of the highest, snowiest sites in the country, or at least snowiest sites, highest in the North Cascades. And we are, above normal, but you can see we're very early in the season, typically only less than maybe 10% of our annual snowpack building. So usually we're at 2.8 inches, the snow water equivalent. Right now we're at like 10. So that's a lot more. Yes, that's 5x, but it's super early in the season. There is a chance, note, that we might break that blue line this week, which would be mean this is the deepest snowpack this site has ever recorded in its history, which is about 16 years back to 2009. So we might have a deepest early November snowpack in the last 15 years for whatever that's worth. I mean, it doesn't mean really much for the rest of the season, but it's a good start. This is an NWAC observation from heliotrope from Trevor Kosinich. Um, Great observation here. So people have been skiing at some of these locations up on glaciers like the Muir Snowfield, Heliotrope, maybe a little bit off the glaciers. It generally seems like there's coverage in a lot of areas, especially in the North Cascades above about 5K, but things are still filling in. Still a lot of rocks to hit, a lot of, on glaciers, crevasse hazards still. So if you are looking out to get out to ski, keep it under control. We're still early in the season. You don't want to risk any injuries at this point. Here's the snow report depth. So, lots of different places have improved this week. Baker went from 0 to 27 inches. People are starting to tour in the Baker backcountry, although it's pretty thin. We've seen less of an increase on the east side in places like Washington Pass just because they're not getting as much moisture. So Snoqualmie Pass hasn't really accumulated any snow at this point. This is estimated snow depth. So you can see things are really hanging out above 4,000 feet or so, but above that, we're definitely starting to build a snowpack, which is great to see. This is the satellite imagery from today. And if we zoom in here at Snoqualmie Pass, you can see there's really no snow at the pass proper, but the ski areas like Summit West and so, which only go up to about 4K, a little below 4K, they did have a dusting of snow. But there isn't really a substantial snowpack until you get to the higher peaks, probably 4,500 and above. None of the lakes really are frozen, so you can see those, spot those right there. So these are the lakes in the Mount Daniel area. So it's kind of an interesting time of year, you know. So if you are planning backcountry adventures, keep in mind the lakes aren't frozen yet, and that can make a big obstacle to get around them. The long term, 8 to 14 days, looking pretty good for us. Probably below average temperatures and above average precipitation. So this is great for building our snowpack heading towards Thanksgiving. Finally, thanks to everyone that has been supporting us on Patreon. We have a number of people, you know, giving us $5 a month and Alden in the White Rhino tier at $20 a month. Thank you, Alden. And if you want to support us and you want to get a little more details about, you know, weekend recommendations, where you should head out to go skiing, stuff like that, we encourage you to check out our Patreon. The link will be in the show notes. So thank you to everyone for watching. Winter is coming sooner than previous years, so it's exciting, and we hope you have a good weekend.